Good night, family. Whoa. Wow. I say whoa. The Terry Trotman. Brilliant presentation. But you have no choice. You cannot compare a Fluffy with that classy performance. You heard the vision. You heard the plans for the constituency. Well, I understand Fluffy had a meeting about here. We had about 5 people, 2 cats, a dog, and a sheep, and a rat. But, you know, on a serious note, I think I have to get this off my chest. Just came from a meeting in Pittwick Gap. And a little girl came up to me, says she's in first form at Grantley Adams. And she said to me, I lost my father to gun violence. And she said to me, I want to work with you, and I want to work with those other children and mothers who are in the same fate and who obviously went through the same experience. And that really touched me. And so she took my cell number, and the mother was there. And I intend to go back there tomorrow. Let's have a chat with her for an hour or so after school. And it came, you know, full circle to me that when we look at the issue of crime in this country, that sometimes we have to refocus and look at those victims of crimes, and particularly the dependents of persons who have suffered, those who have passed away, the dependents of those who have passed away, and those who have suffered serious at the hands of some very serious violent crimes. And so tonight, I join you, Barbados Labour Party family, to speak to you about this manifesto. And this manifesto sets out and actually establish a path for the future of people like those who I spoke to this evening, particularly that little young girl, and you as Barbadians. And that you have in this book a comprehensive solution not only on crime and how we're going to improve the criminal justice system, but a total transformation of housing in Barbados, particularly in the urban corridor. I always say that people will ask why Michael Lashley joined the Barbados Labour Party. I know Tyra was there with me too. But how can I stay in a party that is so disorganized, disrespectful, indisciplined, and that the final curtain was on the Sunday at the conference when stalwarts, young women and young men and women were locked out. Yes, I don't want to call names, at the Democratic Labour Party. And you know, it comes full circle to me. Because you cannot treat women in that way. And they called my phone and said they could not even use the toilet facilities that Sunday. So it didn't surprise me when SWIT decided to lambaste women and said that the Barbados Labour Party is full with whores and prostitutes. It didn't surprise me, though. Because that is their view and image of women. And so you have, on February 11th, I would say that there's no choice. There's no choice whatsoever. And you cannot compare a fluffy. Who he named now again? I don't remember his name. Who he named? Who? Not me and that. All I can say, he is rural. That's all I can say, he is rural. But, you know, at Tyra, you have no competition. I don't want to be arrogant about it. Because I know the person. I know the man. And I say to you, family, that this comprehensive document in relation to what we are facing, the challenge of crime in this country, I heard Tyra touch on it. And that in this document, we have proposals. We have proposals in it to strengthen our criminal justice system. Because we want to make Barbados a safer society. And I want to say to you that there is a view that a reduction in crime leads to safer societies. Leads to safer societies. Before, we had a backlog of cases in this country, and justice was moving slowly. It even prompted the CCJ to complain about our system in Barbados. And one attempt was made to try to solve it. The government of the day at the time amended the Magistrates Courts Act, abolished what we call preliminary inquiries, but that did not solve it. Because what you did is that you put and lump more cases on top of other cases. So the system got slower and slower and slower. And what the Barbados Labour Party did, as soon as they came into office, increased the complement of judges on the bench. So you had more judges to get rid of the backlog. And I say that as a practitioner in the law courts, that I've seen the backlog. I've seen it moving, and I've seen the cases being reduced. And they're working. But we can only stop there, not just increasing the judges on the bench, but what the Barbados Labour Party do, increase the prosecutors. So you can't have, on the one hand, looking to get rid of the backlog of cases by increasing the judges, but you have to also increase the prosecutors, because if you have more courts, you need more prosecutors. And that was done. And what is happening now I will say to you, my opinion is that we have no cases moving so fast through the system that when a man is charged, say tomorrow, within 5 or 6 months, you get a file. Before 2, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And we must compliment this government, and we must compliment the Attorney General on his approach to the criminal justice system and strengthening the criminal justice system. Because we got to talk serious business in this campaign. Because I have not seen anything from the Democratic Labour Party that we can say that is a serious attempt to strengthen the criminal justice system. And we got to be serious about it. And I will say this, that, no, it didn't only stop there. The Democratic Labour Party set up a commission on crime. Bypass Tyra Trotman, who is active in the courts. Bypass me. Bypass the former Attorney General. And put someone on the commission that I don't know what to say about her. But it came to the public that this, look, they have a document, this is how we can solve crime. I have looked through the document, and I will say to you that they have no realistic proposals in there. One, to strengthen the criminal justice system, or to make Barbados a safer society. And when we look at what was done, and that the government then established what we call an advisory council on citizen security. And we went through a number of pieces of legislation to strengthen this country, to make this country more safer. And when I heard the talk from the DLP about the anti-gang legislation, it came to my committee. I am co-chair. And we went through that legislation clause by clause, word for word, section by section, and distill it and sent it back to the Attorney General's office. We went through so much pieces of legislation. We met with the stakeholders. And the fact too that we had so much consultations throughout the year, throughout last year, meeting not only with prosecutors, meeting from judges overseas, because of course we have to borrow from other jurisdictions. Some might be good, some might be bad, but we can pluck the good ones to put into our system to strengthen it and make sure that at the end of the day, justice is not only done, but be seen to be done. And so we are on the path of strengthening the criminal justice system, ensuring that Barbados is safe. And I want to say to you that all of the proposals in here will work and move the criminal justice system, modernize it, the use of technology. And you know, before I come down from here, the Barbados Labour Party, I am comfortable to be in the Barbados Labour Party. I feel at home. And in fact, when I went in the city tonight speaking at some meetings, a meeting, I said, the city is now my home. And St. Philip is my second home. They might get a little vexed, but the city is now my home. But you know, the city lockdown. I'm in a constituency where we have challenges, and throughout this urban corridor, respect to housing. And again, when I look into this manifesto brings realistic proposals to confront the challenges of housing in Barbados. And I even say this, that when we tailor a housing policy, it must be tailored to certain categories of persons. We have people in the urban corridor that live on lands that they don't know who it belongs to. They're basically squatting. We have people living on lands that are subject to an eviction notice, or in fact, in court, awaiting to be put off the lands. We have people who are renting, who cannot afford to purchase a house or get a mortgage. And so we must put policies in place, and that is why when I heard mention of the rent-to-own program, that is so important, because the gas station worker, the civil servant at the bottom of the ladder, the person who works in the agricultural fields, can now afford to get a house through a rent-to-own program. The fact that the government has committed to build housing units in Mason Hall Street and others in the urban corridor and throughout the country, that is a commitment from this government, particularly in terms of providing affordable housing to Barbadians. And that is important, because I must say that the land in town, well, is scarce, and we must maximize the uses of the land. And that is why I'm in total agreement of building that multi-story building at Mason Hall Street to house people who are in need of housing. I also want to say to you the fact that the establishment of an urban transformation fund again will benefit the people of St. Michael and in this constituency and this city. Is set up there to transform the lives of the people in St. Michael, not only in terms of housing, but indeed of bringing transformation to their lives. And the fact, too, that the government now, in 2019, amended the Town Planning Act, ensuring that investors, that they have an obligation to put back some money into the community so that the people can benefit. People can benefit, and that they're obligated to put that money in. You imagine that an investor have to put at least $7 million or $8 million back into the community? Back into the community? But I can't wait. I cannot wait for something like that to happen. And I want to say to the people of St. Michael Central, you have a star. You have a political star. And you have to come out and go and vote on February the 11th. And go in your numbers. Do not stay home. This election is important for your future. And you have a young person with a vision. You have a young person that is committed. You have a young person with programs that I'm sure will be of benefit to the people of this constituency. Get rid of a fluffy, In fact, you don't have to get rid. The fluffy already finished with. Even before it starts, the fluffy done. He done. And I want to say to you, support Tyra Trotman and let us have a stronger future. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.